Income seldom exceeds personal development. I love that one.
Oh, that one's so true.
Let me say that one again. Income seldom exceeds personal development.
So if you're not reading any books or consuming any knowledge, you're not going to grow.
Imagine a perfect world where you can build a restaurant, open the doors, and make loads of money. Unfortunately, those days are over. It takes great leadership, hard work, and long hours to operate a successful restaurant. Together, we can make it happen. This is Restauranttopia.
We have a really special episode today that's a little bit off the beaten path, but near and dear to me and Brian's hearts. 7 books every restaurant owner and operator must read. We've got books and authors that we're going to go over today, and you guys can take away, have some new content to consume and make your restaurant operation better. So with me today, Brian Seitz.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? I just want to break it down for our listeners out there. I know there's probably some confusion in our listenership to think that we're like really cool, hip guys, but total nerds. We exchange books like on a regular basis. So like oftentimes David will find a book on his desk, put a new book on my desk, like, hey, you got to read this. Personally, I read a ton. I listen to a lot of Audible. I'm constantly consuming books.
Yeah, and I would tell you that, you know, I've always tried to consume a lot of content, whether it be videos or podcasts or audiobooks. Up until this year, really, I had not made a commitment to reading consistently. I know how to read. I just never
that's
really
good.
I just never really had it in my, I guess, daily routine to read a physical book. So, but this year, you know, I started getting up at a certain time, doing some things, you know, actually one book that's not in here, but I reference the 5 a.m. Club, and you know, amazing, talks about the victory hour. We've got move your body, move your mind. And, you know, so part of that is like, you know, is reading, you know, and consuming positive things. So I was always into that, but I just got reading into my repertoire. And again, to reference Brian's, like, we're nerds, like, you know, we'll get books for gifts for each other. You know, that's just what we do, you know? So
no, I try to consume a ton of content. I do love the audiobooks, and I have Audible subscription, but when I'm not listening to a great podcast, I'm consuming a book typically. I don't listen to a ton of music.
Yeah. No, so let's rip into this, man.
All right, cool. All right. So my first book on the list, Content Inc. by Joe Palitzi, Cleveland guy, very, very good author. He has written multiple books. This book is the second edition of Content Inc., and it's focused at content entrepreneurs. I put this on here because I think it is so relevant in this digital day and age that you focus on your content and really understand what that means.
Yeah, and in this book I've read, and I would agree with you, it would appear to be for someone that wants to be that YouTube star or be, you know, take their social media to the next level and try to monetize and things like that. But there's certain things in there, little nuggets, man, that you could take away on the content side. We all should be producing some sort of content for us to market and for people to consume and want to either enjoy our product or our restaurant or our business or whatever it is, you know. So there's some unbelievable stuff in here.
So I was on social media this week, and I saw a restaurant that did Wine Down Wednesday. Like, they need to read this book.
Wine Down Wednesday.
Yeah, I might send.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so this is where you are out of ideas.
Is that the day before or after Taco Tuesday?
After,
Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
So you don't want tacos on Wednesday, but you have the desire for a Merlot.
Half off bottle of wine.
Yeah. Basically, yes. I just think it's something that as a restaurateur you need to be thinking about is, how am I going to produce content? What does it look like? And how do I disseminate it? So he does a really good job on this. Definitely check it out. He talks about building a long-term customer loyalty, what that looks like as far as building lists. You know, do you have a text list? Do you have a newsletter? He talks about that in this book. So definitely check it out. My second book, Restaurant Management, The Myth, The Magic, The Math by Bruce Nelson. I mean, he's sort of famous. He was on Restauranttopia last year.
He was on the #1 ranked restaurant podcast in the world
by 3 guys who are bald that only want to talk about things that are relevant to local independent restaurants. That podcast, #1 podcast?
Yeah, rated #1. Yeah.
In that category,
yeah.
#1.
But Bruce was a guest on the show.
Bruce was on episode 36. Check it out. Good episode. This book, I think, was so relevant for me for 2021 because it talks about just the math and doing a deep dive in on what your balance sheet looks like and how to really make sure that your balance sheet is strong, and whether you're doing good or bad isn't just reflected in the balance in your bank account.
Yeah, and I think the magic, as I'll steal that, no pun intended, the magic is really that Bruce has, he's got a perspective of a finance guy or, an accountant, but also an operator, because he's done both. And so, to have that level of, or I guess to have that mixture of knowledge and experience is really, he did a great job of putting that together.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It is the CFO, the accountant who has the restaurant experience. If your CFO or an accountant, did a construction company's books, or they did an auto body company's books, like, they don't know the first thing about the restaurant industry and what that looks like and what your prime costs are and what the KPIs that you should be looking at. And, are you paying too much for labor? What does, the other aspects of your business that you need to be tracking? If you want to improve your finances, look at your finances.
Yeah.
Study the numbers. And then also, I'd secondarily to read the book, reach out to like Jamie Romano at J&R Accounting, great bookkeeper. They have the resources and the industry knowledge that you need. You want an accountant or a bookkeeper who is focusing in on 99% restaurants.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the pro tip there is like, somebody that's good at accounting is one thing, but somebody that knows your business, knows this industry in and out, that's going to be the key. I got to tell you, number 3, I am super pumped up about, because I think, I don't know who introduced this one to you, but my mentor,
I don't know who your mentor is. My mentor,
introduced us to this book, and it is a really quick read, easy to digest. I would dare to say even simple, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but so powerful. So powerful.
I would agree with you, and I'd say digestible, or what, I don't know what the word is. Simple is probably the best way to put it, but if you're at a crossroads or an inflection in your life and you really want to assess and your mind is open, this book will change your life.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And it did for me. And I tell you, I've read this book probably more than 5, but less than 10 times over the last 10 years. This is one that you can revisit just to kind of, because I don't think, there's always things that happen in life and things that happen in your business, things that happen personal, whatever it is, it might get you off track in some areas, but this book kind of like will bring it back and ground you and get you in the right direction.
I agree. I would think if, for me personally, once I got done with my divorce and my head had cleared and I was in such a great spot, emotionally, physically, mentally, but man, when I read this book, like, it really helped me reassess and put my life on a better path.
Yeah. So just a couple of highlights, talking about like live a life with 3-dimensional health, the gift of relationships, surrounding yourself with the best people, income seldom exceeds personal development. I love that one.
Oh, that one's so true.
Let me say that one again. Income seldom exceeds personal development.
So if you're not reading any books or consuming any knowledge, you're not going to grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're a self-selecting group, though. They're listening to this podcast, so I know that they're intellectual superheroes.
Or they're forced to listen.
Yes.
Sorry, Mom. The world can always use one more great leader and leaving a legacy. So definitely check this one out for personal development. One of my top 5, no question.
Okay. Number 4, another Cleveland guy. So on the list here,
I think the phrase goes, Cleveland rocks.
Yeah, no.
Cleveland rocks.
The Relationship Economy by John DeJulius. I'm telling you, this one is so relevant to us now with the DoorDash and third-party delivery and all the things that are getting in the way of you and your customer. This is talking about how to build world-class service. It's about 50% hospitality industry in the book, but it really helps you with how do you take a service business and resonate with that customer, give them world-class service so they come back. He has the Customer Service Revolution podcast. You really want to make sure that you encourage and foster that connection with your customer. And he really teaches us some tricks how to do it, but also how to teach your organization how to do that. What is the person doing answering the phone? What's the hostess doing? What are they doing when the person leaves the restaurant? What the table touches, all the things that you need to really be world class at now, because someone can light you up online people can feel disconnected from your restaurant because of the digital divide between when they got their food and how they place the order and all those things.
Yeah, and the thing I like about John is that, definitely read this book, but follow him on his social media. I mean, in his company, I mean, he's lived this, he's done it, he's built businesses. This isn't a guy that wasn't good enough to do it in business, so he started consulting.
Yeah,
he's done it in his life. I mean, he contributed to the Starbucks customer service mantra. I mean, he's done some major things.
Oh yeah.
So this is a major dude. Love it. This one's definitely a must read.
Number 5 here, Jim Sullivan book, Multi-Unit Leadership: The 7 Stages of Building Profitable Stores Across Multiple Markets. This is a cool book. I'm telling you, like, if you have 3 restaurants, or if you even have 2, the ability to be a multi-unit leader is totally different than operating one restaurant. I read this book. I consumed it in an afternoon. It was amazing. I was like, man, I don't even own a restaurant. So like, to see the tricks and tips that I could pull out of this book to help other leaders really perform and help that their team perform better, it was great.
Yeah, this one for me, I actually have not read, I have to be honest, but this is going to move up my list a little bit. Just a little bit. We've talked about off mic, and then just reading some of the notes here. I mean, this is awesome stuff.
So when I say this one is something that you can actually take stuff out of it immediately, it has 250 best practices for high performing multi-unit leaders. So think about that. Like, there's 250 things that people are doing that have proven to be top notch, first in class type things. You could pull it out of this book.
Love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm excited to get into this one. And plus Jim Sullivan, I mean, he's got a unbelievable record of making some great businesses go. So yeah, I love it. Number 6, The Surprise Restaurant Manager by Ken Mcgarry. So this is another famous person in the last few weeks.
Oh, Ken, we were able to get 3 episodes with. He did the circuit with his book release, all of the major podcasts in the restaurant space. Josh Koppel's podcast, just a lot of great podcasts out there that he's been on. I love this book. I got an email from his publicist, and she's like, would you have Ken on the show? And I'm like, maybe. Can I read the book? And so I ordered the book online. She actually sent me a copy, but I ordered it online because I like to listen to books, but I also like a physical copy. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is a good book. I got to have this guy on. So we were blessed enough to have.
It seemed like one of those solicitations where you're like, oh, okay. All right,
yeah. Can I be a guest blogger? I'd like to write content for your website. Like, I'm okay. Yeah. But no, he was great. He was a really nice guy, but super knowledgeable. This is a book that you can almost use as like a how-to manual if you're a GM. So many things in there of how to fire someone, what to do if someone's stealing, what to do in so many different situations.
No, and so relatable. And so in another person you can tell they're not just an author, like they've lived this, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no.
It just resonates.
No, and it wasn't like he worked at Applebee's in Toledo, Ohio. Like, this is an operator who is in the independent space and knows what it's like to have one of the really great examples that he has in the book is, what do you do when you have an investor in your restaurant acting a fool and treating your staff bad? You kick them the hell out. And the owner's on the phone going like, don't
you can't do that.
You can't do that to Carl.
A lot of money.
Yeah, it's like no, you have to honor your staff. And that's the thing that they want to die on their sword with. Then you kind of know who they are.
Yeah, no, and a couple of things. He goes through proven steps to upgrade your table touches. How to salvage every negative guest experience. How to embrace blunt criticism. I mean, that's. We talk about that all the time, radical candor,
Those are great.
How to work effectively with strong personalities and avoid professional burnout. So it's real life stuff. I don't think there's an order to the 7 here, but this one, I think you could pick this up, read quickly, and get impact immediately.
I think so. The one thing he talks about in being a GM is the kind of emotional health with when people come to you with their problems, and it's just such a great way to break it down. And I think, with all the stress and how we're all understaffed right now, I think this is an important book to read. When you got some downtime, definitely check this out. The links are in the show notes. Number 7, what do we got there?
So this is one that probably looks like the wildest on this list, but I will tell you is, to me, been the most important. And again, Brian and I being nerds, Brian bought this book for me maybe a couple months ago, and I've read it every day. So this is the Daily Stoic, okay? And it's 366 meditations on wisdom, perseverance, and the art of living by Ryan Holiday. So if anybody knows Ryan Holiday or follows anything he's doing,
Big
he's
fan.
He's does the Daily Stoic podcast and does a lot of things around Stoicism. And if you're not familiar with Stoicism, do some research on it. But I'll tell you that this is the ancient leaders and philosophers that basically came up with the most simple ways to live life effectively. And so what he's done in this is he's given 366 different. Every day there's a different, basically, Stoic philosophy translated how it was originally done, and then there's a paragraph or two or three, basically with like a follow-up or his thoughts on it. I'm telling you, man, I look forward to, when I get up in the morning, I look forward to opening this up, reading what's there for the day. It starts my day amazing.
It blows my mind. I'm telling you, this stuff is so powerful. It's so simple. If you're not a big-time reader, get this book. It's 2 paragraphs every day, and it will transform your life. It'll transform the way you think. Ryan Holiday is such an intellect and such a great author. I've read probably 3 or 4 of his books. Ego is the Enemy is the last one I read before this. Love that book. If you're dealing with a narcissist, that's a great book to read. But check out the Daily Stoic.
I'm currently doubling up. So I'm doing the Daily Stoic.
Yeah.
And then right after, I'm reading a chapter of The Obstacle is the Way, which is another one of his books. That's really good. And it just talks about how, sometimes fear in the obstacle and the wall that's ahead of you, that's telling you that's the way you should go. You've got to persevere. You've got to get through that. Yeah. Avoiding those situations is actually the wrong direction.
Sometimes you got to take the hard path.
Mm-hmm. No, a lot of times. I mean, and that's basically what it talks about. It's like the struggle and the fear, and that's, you actually have to push towards that and get through it.
No, the hard conversation.
Yeah,
asking for more money, confronting an issue. I think that
dealing with an employee, whatever it is. Yeah,
firing someone, pull the trigger, get it done.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. No, this is an awesome list. I'm excited that we decided to do this because, again, you and I being the nerds that we are, it's near and dear. And again, personal development, income seldom exceeds personal development. So that's really what this episode's about.
That's what I think we should start and end with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, David. I appreciate your time today. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
This is a high quality pod. Thank you, everybody.
Take care. Adios.
Thank you for listening to Restaurantopia. The gratitude that we have for each and every one of you spending your precious time to listen to this podcast is immeasurable. Please make sure to tell a friend about this podcast. And also, if you have any feedback for us, visit us on restaurantopia.com and drop us a line. You can also subscribe on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. Thank you and have a great day.
We are excited to announce the Restaurantopia VIP Text Club. Join by texting the word podcast to 844-928-4257. You will get access to exclusive content, industry news, deals, announcements, pro tips, and more. The VIP Text Club is an exclusive community of independent restaurant owners and professionals. Join today. Message and data rates may apply. Please check our website for our terms of service and privacy policy.